Good afternoon, Mr. Dlamini. Welcome. We thank you for availing yourself to join us on this session. And we thank you for availing yourself for consideration for appointment as a judge of the Gauteng Division of the High Court.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Justice.
I see that you hold the degrees of BProc and LLB. Your BProc was obtained at the University of Limpopo, is that right?
That's correct,
Yes,
Deputy Justice.
And your LLB, you obtained it from the University of Johannesburg.
No. Both University of Limpopo, University of Johannesburg, I obtained a diploma in corporate law.
Oh, okay. So you then you then did a diploma in corporate law at the University of Johannesburg.
Yes.
Yes.
It was called RAU at that time.
At the time.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. It was not done in Afrikaans, was it?
No, it was in English.
Yes.
Deputy Justice.
And you practice as an attorney, is that right?
That's correct.
And you have your own law firm.
Indeed
Yes.
so.
And you have been practicing as an attorney from when?
From 1993.
That makes it about what, 31 years?
I'm gonna go for 30 years in 2023, I think.
It's about 20, 27, 28, yeah.
Around there, yes.
Yeah, okay. No, that's quite a long time in practice.
It is indeed.
Yeah, well, we had a candidate yesterday who practiced for 27 years before making himself available for appointment. So today we have 27, 28 years. Yes. Please tell us about the types of cases that you handle in your practice that you have been handling since 1993.
Initially, I started in at that time it was criminal law on the main, under the auspices of the legal aid. We were doing a lot of legal aid work then. We grew up the practice, and we branched to what we call the RAF work. I then formed a partnership with 4 other firms. We were then able to source other work from parastatals, government.
Was that a partnership or an association?
In partnership now. After establishing my own firm,
yeah,
we went on to establish what we called then, it was Makume and Associates.
Oh, you merged?
We merged 4
okay.
other 4 firms.
Mm.
And whilst with Makume and Associates, we then merged with 4 other firms, Seriti Attorneys, Maluleka Attorneys, Matlala Attorneys, to form what we called MSMM Attorneys, Maluleka Seriti, Makume, Matlala Attorneys. We practiced there until 2010, when then I decided to move back and form my own, back to my legal practice. From 2010 up until to date, I'm practicing on my own.
Yes.
Thank you.
But so you say initially most of your work was criminal work?
Yes.
Criminal law work?
Criminal law work,
yeah,
yes. And then we moved on
criminal law work, not criminal work. But he almost agreed.
And then at MSMM, we were able to attract other, like I said, parastatals, local government, Ekurhuleni, parastatals, Transnet, and so forth. And presently, I am in a panel of Gauteng Department of Infrastructure Development, the government, and Gauteng used to call Department of Housing, but is now Settlement, Department of Human Settlement. So there it's mainly High Court litigation. I've provided legal opinions for them, investigating reports. That's what, and I'm also doing adjudication work and housing disputes for the Department of Human Settlement. So that has been my focus for the past 10 years on my own.
So the past 10 years,
Yes.
the focus has been adjudicating housing disputes or issues?
Housing dispute, yes. High Court litigation, legal opinions for the various departments that I've mentioned, and assisting medium to small size business people around Gurulen and so forth. That's been my focus now.
Yes. Would there be some commercial work that you are getting from government?
It's mainly commercial.
It's mainly commercial.
The past 10 years, I've not been to the criminal court, yes, but it's been mostly commercial. But I give work to other young up and coming attorneys in my building who need to grow, and like I did almost 30 years ago when I started. Yes.
Yes. And you have acted quite a few times in the High Court?
I have both Pretoria and Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Since 2018 with the
Judge President.
With the latitude of the Judge President, he has afforded me the opportunity to serve various terms in both Pretoria and Johannesburg. Yes.
Yes. I see that in the questionnaire, I think you have written that you have written 8 unreported judgments, but when I look at the times when you have acted, that doesn't seem to be right.
No. Those were the questionnaire dealt with was not on the
not everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there any of your judgments that you have written that have been reported?
No, I have no reported judgment.
But in terms of judgments that you matters where you have written judgments, yes. What's your estimate of how many judgments you have written?
There are more than 20 now.
More than 20?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, all right. Thank you. Judge President Mlambo.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dlamini.
Good afternoon, JP.
I just want to confirm what you've been telling the Acting Chief Justice. You've done 2 full terms in the Criminal Trial Court. Am I correct? 4th term 2018 and 3rd term 2021.
That's correct, JP.
And you've also sat in 9 criminal appeal judgments.
That's correct, JP.
How many of those did you write?
I have to look at my spreadsheet.
Well, I think you've given us your list of judgments.
Yeah, there's in the criminal appeals, I think.
You've written quite a number.
Quite a number, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was surprised you didn't tell the Acting Chief Justice that you have a list that he's got in front of him of 21. That's the total judgments you've written since you started acting. Yeah, you were correct by saying it's over 20.
Yeah, but that excludes also the ones that on the last term that I've served. Those are not on the list.
When I look at your spreadsheet, I see that you've not done the Rule 43 special trials and special motions, and you have 1 week in the urgent court.
That's correct, JP.
How did you find the week in the urgent court? Because that's usually a scary prospect for a lot of people.
It is indeed, especially that you have to hit the ground running. The matters are urgent, you have to read. There's no a reading week where you have time to read. So the matters are there, they are urgent. People want to bury loved ones, people want to stop others from accessing bank accounts. So Yes,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a challenge, yes. But
If you can recollect, how many do you think you had? Because there's two of you in the Asian court. Your own load for that week, how many can you just recall from the top of your head?
there were about 5 for the week.
You were lucky. Did your senior do most of them?
No. We spread them because what happened on that week, the roll collapsed, I think,
Oh, I
and
see.
then the DJP then put everybody on the agent roll to come and
assist.
and
Yeah.
assist.
I
Yes.
see.
So
Okay.
the senior judge then spread the workload to all of us there to assist. That's why the number was not as hectic as it should have been.
Okay. You told the acting chief justice you've done commercial work in the last 10 years.
Yes.
I wish I had known that earlier, because we've got a commercial role in Gauteng.
Chief Justice, yes, but I'm sorry, JP. But remember, the JP is the one that put the manpower where the JP believes it should be allocated.
Yeah. I mean, the point I'm making is that your stints in the criminal trial courts were actually wasted capacity, because you could have done more work in the commercial roles.
Not at all, JP. They were actually very enlightening. There is work there, JP. It's heavy work. You have to read the record. You have to consult with your senior. It's quite challenging. Obviously, with my criminal law background, it wasn't as heavy as it should be, but it is. In fact, all the fields that are there in court, as you know, the role is quite heavy. Where there's a criminal role, it's a civil role, opposed, unopposed. The role in both divisions, in both Gauteng and Johannesburg, is quite challenging. There's heavy work.
Yeah. So, do you feel, therefore, that whatever work you've done, if we look at your spreadsheets, it's 59 weeks in total, you feel that has, in addition to your practice experience,
yes,
that has sufficiently prepared you for a permanent appointment?
I do, JP.
Yes.
I'm almost 30 years now in practice, and that experience is I consider it valuable.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the terms that I've acted, they've actually enhanced my experience to such an extent that I believe, fairly so, that I am in a position to assume, subject to the commission, of course, I can assume a permanent position. But the acting terms themselves, they were the ones that I believe have put me in a position that I can avail myself.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, Acting Chief Justice. I've got no further questions.
Thank you, Judge President. MEC Lesufi, do you have any questions for the candidates? If so, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Acting Chief Justice. I have no further questions to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Tsepe.
Thank you, Acting Chief Justice. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Tsepe.
I just wanted to check with you. The GCB in their comments about your application raised quite a number of issues, but I guess the important one for me that I just wanted you to engage with is that your knowledge of constitutional law and its impact have not been demonstrated in your judgments. I just wanted to hear your comments on that. And on the list that you provided of your judgments, I see that there are some judgments which were provided beyond the 3-month period, and I just wanted to hear your views on that. Thank you so much, Mr. Dlamini.
Thank you, Commissioner. On the constitutional issues, I think the JCP also comments further that the matters that were allocated to me at the time, they did not have any constitutional applicability on it. But having said that, it's my submission that the Constitution per se, constitutional matters, they appear on every matter that basically that you deal with. You know, if it's in criminal matters, we have to deal with doctrine of common purpose, the right of an accused to remain silent. There are constitutional issues, not per se that you have to declare certain legislation invalid or such matters. But running through, the Constitution is our guiding document. So, in my view, barring to say that indeed there were no matters that I specifically allocated, that is, constitutional questions on them. But overall, the Constitution rides through, and one is mindful wherever you do. The eviction matter I dealt with, the right to housing, the right to, it's a constitutional matter that you deal with, whether you order parties to declare property, whether the property is a primary residence or not, whether you can order an eviction or sale an eviction and so forth. On the outstanding judgments, the two, the JP has requested us actually to mention them. I've mentioned them. The first one, I was sitting with the senior, although he's an AJ, but because of the non-availability of judges then, because of COVID, after we discussed with him, we discovered that he's got more terms than I have, and then he was a senior on the day. So we had the matter. Within the 3 months period, I forwarded my judgment to him. I emailed it, well, he had emailed mine, the one that he was ascribed, timelessly. I had a look at it, I sent it back to him. A week later, I sent him mine via email, and as expected, I thought the colleague will also do the same. Unfortunately, the 3-month period lapsed, but I followed it up with an email, which I have, reminding the colleague about the judgment that was due. Unfortunately, the senior, for one reason or the other, I don't know, he never acknowledged or never replied. It was December, and then January, I saw an email from him delivering the judgment that is in order, and then we had it delivered. I might add that from what I sent him and what he returned, there was nothing basically that was queried or caused a delay on my side. Maybe that there were questions that he raised about the judgment. There was none. Perhaps it was December and he was busy, and that caused the delay. But I can assure the commissioner that my email trail will show that the judgment was sent to him timelessly, and I followed up with a reminder. And the senior, unfortunately, only sent the judgment back to me in January after, I think it was December and so forth, January. And that's the reason, Commissioner. On the second one, I also sat with another very senior, the JP knows, I'm sure that's why. And the name is there. I don't want to use this commission as a form of this. There's no complaint. I just want to place the facts before the commission of how the judgment were delivered in that manner. Again, I said with the senior, he asked me to do a scribe on this particular judgment. Within the 3 months period, I sent the senior the judgment. He did nothing, maybe he was busy. In December, similarly, I think it was on the same day that I sent the judgment, the email to the other colleague. I also reminded him on the email that, hey, please note that the judgment is still outstanding. I think that one he did reply and said, no, don't worry, I'll let it in December. That was his reply. Now, we're now running to 4 or 5 months. In January, we're at 6 months now. It was a red zone. I sent him a very collegial email as well. I say, good afternoon, senior. Compliments of the new season. I hope you and family are well. Yeah. Good afternoon, senior. I hope this finds you well. Compliments and best wishes for the new year. Can you please assist to have this judgment delivered? That was now in January. Unfortunately, this was met with no acknowledgement, no nothing. The 6 months period was done. The train has left the station. I had a valid ticket. I arrived at the station timelessly. And unfortunately, the driver decided to go, and we were at 6 months now. So one phone call after the other, a reminder, no, don't worry, Chabu, I'll come to it, I'll come to it. So fortunately, maybe that will assist the commissioner to understand where I was with the senior. His own judgment, the appellant there was a Argentinian citizen. So the embassy was because he was sentenced to life imprisonment for rape. So the Argentinian citizen were following on the judgment. That was now 9 months or so. We then got an email from the JP. Colleagues, follow the trail here. Who's the scribe here? When can I expect the judgment to be delivered? Can I have my response by XYZ date? On the expiry of that day, before I called him, and he said, no, don't worry. I'll give the JP a note. I'll deliver the judgment by the end of March. I think that was the date he put. And then on the same conversation, I reminded him, what about my judgment? He says, no. I'll make sure both come through. I'm busy, man. I'm busy in the land court and other judgments. So he did reply to the JP and said, I'll deliver the judgment on XYZ date in March already. In May, we got another email from the JP reminding us, say, where's the judgment? Oh, he says, no. That's when I saw in Caseline that he has delivered mine in April. And then he delivered his, I think it was in May. So what I'm trying to say is just to put the commission to realize the circumstances under which, and the senior that at the time I dealt with. In short, Commissioner, if we have to look at it that way, if you look at the date that I sent my judgment to the senior, they were within time, they were within 3 months, and the delay happened as I've explained now.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Mr. Dlamini.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Matolo Zepu.
Thank you, CJ. Good afternoon, Mr. Dlamini.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
I have to declare that I know you from the Black Lawyers Association for quite a long time.
Thank you.
And we've been together for some time. But what I wanted to know, I know that you are still doing a lot of Department of Human Settlement matters, adjudication. Is there any interest for you to do some land claims court, because I know that we do a lot. I mean, I do human settlement work, but is there any, because we are running short of people, I know that, is there any interest for you to do that?
There is interest to put my hand where I'm needed. I'm not in a position even now that I can pick and choose where where I'm deployed, where I believe where I'm needed. I'm always ready to avail myself, Commissioner. Yes.
Let me go to commissioners who are on the virtual platform. Commissioners on the virtual platform, is there anybody who has?
Commissioner Malema here.
Who is there? Oh,
Julius
Commissioner
Malema.
Malema. Yes, please go for it.
I just want to ask if you have a problem mentioning the senior you are referring to, because this is the most relevant body where such people shouldn't be difficult to mention them. Because look now, your career is likely to be compromised because of the incompetence of another person.
Can I respond, Commissioner? I don't know if you finished
Yes,
the question.
I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malema. No, I don't have a problem. This is a public document. It's available for circulation. It's part of the commission here, and it's a public document. I don't have any problem whatsoever. The facts I'm placing before this commission, I've taken this commission into confidence. I'm placing the reasons why the judgment were delivered. It's public document. I don't have any problem whatsoever.
Yeah, go
I've
ahead
got
and mention.
emails that I've referred to. They are here. I don't have a problem, Mr. Malema.
No, yeah, not all I'm asking is mention his name.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
It's Judge Spilch, Commissioner Malema.
Judge who?
Brian Spilch.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, DCJ.
Thank you, Commissioner Malema. Minister?
Thank you, Acting Judge.
Thank you, Minister.
Mine is regard to the comment by the GCP. You will have seen it, but it goes to the fact that most of the judgments that you have mentioned was not on the most complex matters of the law. The subject matters included criminal law matters for the most part, about which candidate has a vast experience, including an eviction matter. So, having been now a minister for 2 years myself, receiving extradition requests to various countries and some of the reports from the NPA with regards to complex commercial criminal matters that I have seen also goes to forensic. They cut across some of the fields of the law, of the most complex fields of the law. Do you still think that in 2021, criminal law is still just purely criminal law? It's not, some of the matters are not complex field of the law, that a candidate who has only been a criminal lawyer may not be able to handle it. I know there's different rules and regulations and so forth for civil matters and so, but what I've seen is that some of them cut across civil, very complex fields of the law.
Yes.
So I want to get your view. Do you think criminal law has not evolved to that level that some of those matters could be seen as complex?
Thank you, Minister. It's true what you're saying. Remember, we've now moved into international. South Africa, where there's commercial transaction international across the border. I would quote it with trepidation, but from what I've read in the media. For example, the matter involving the minister in Mozambique, extradition matter either to the US or to Mozambique want him to go to the US. He wants to go back to be extradited to Mozambique. It's true. They are complex, especially when we grow international. There's a matter of Bushiri that you want to be transferred back to South Africa. Yes, criminal law is, on the face of it, people might think it involves petty theft and stabbings or whatever, but there's a higher level of criminal work that is there. Now that we are in the international arena, we're part of the whole international world. There's trade and so forth. Like extraditions from other countries, they are complex. They need time. They need to be looked at. We have to study the papers, look at the various laws in other jurisdictions. They are complex. I agree with you. It's no longer an ordinary criminal matter. It's quite complex indeed.
No, thank you.
Commissioner Moimang.
Thank you, Acting Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Dr. Dlamini.
Good afternoon, Commissioner.
Do you think that the judiciary must be a bit stricter with the mainly political parties who regularly bring actions and applications before the court, where probably another platform could have been used to settle those political dynamics? And not only that, do you think the judiciary also needs to be a bit much more stricter also to the legislature and the executive? Because there's a perception that the judiciary is beginning to take center stage. And in other cases, is lapses on the part of the executive and the legislature to do their good governance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner. Maybe I would mix both answers because they are intertwined. The doctrine of separation of power is fundamental, it's part of our law. It will be difficult for the judiciary to dictate not only to political parties, to the general public, to say when and how actions to be brought, when and how people should litigate. They will now be interfering on another sphere where they don't have jurisdiction per se. Political parties have a right to deal with their own matters inter se. But for the judiciary to say to them, please don't bring certain matters to us or bring certain matters to us, it will be interference. Similarly, for example, parties generally, they will decide whether they want to come to court or they want to take the matter to arbitration or mediation. That's their constitutional choice and right. So in my view, for the judiciary to issue out instructions or to say to any party, for a matter, party in the sense that is whether it's an individual or it's a political parties, to say only bring certain matters to us and not certain matters, that will be, I think, an overreach and it will be unconstitutional. The judiciary is simply sitting here waiting for the parties to come, bring the matters to them, adjudicate the matters freely, without fear or favor, and then pass the judgment. But Commissioner, my view is that interference from the judiciary or direction to say to the parties which forum should they opt for it's my respectful view that it will be an overreach on the part of the judiciary.
Thank you, Dlamini. Thank you, Acting Chief Justice.
Thank you. I have Commissioner Xaba, and I have no further hand after that. Commissioner Xaba.
No, thanks, Acting Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Acting Judge.
Commissioner Xaba, good afternoon.
My question is, other than that you were identified to act as a judge from 2018.
Yes.
What else?
Just raise your voice again.
Sorry. Thank
Yes,
you so
thank
much.
you.
My apologies,
Thank you.
Acting CJ. Other than that, you were identified to act as a judge from 2018
Yes.
to date.
Yes.
What else would have prepared you for the post for which you have actually applied?
Yes.
I'm not too sure if you have bragged enough.
I'm not sure.
I'm not too sure if you have bragged enough. Sure, thanks. Thank you very much, SJ.
Thank you, Commissioner Xaba. Like I indicated earlier to the Deputy Chief Justice, I have almost 28 years in practice across the field, from criminal, I'm doing corporate commercial work. I've sat as a chairperson of the Home Truth Commission. I deal with adjudication, and those are very important because they deal with the right to housing, which is contained in the Bill of Rights, to adjudicate.
That's right to access.
Yes, to housing, yes.
Sorry, right to have access.
Access to housing, yes. So, in that score, I've also said as chairperson of disciplinary hearings from Ekurhuleni, my experience runs across the entire field. So I believe, like I said, the acting portion about it has simply enhanced my skills on that matter. But I believe sufficiently I'm in a position to act. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dlamini.
Thank you, Commissioner Xaba. We have come to the end of this interview. Thank you very much, Mr. Dlamini, for availing yourself. You are now excused.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.